Welcome to News at 9. I am your host, Sally James. As you all know, every Friday we meet a special guest and learn from their success story. Today we have with us a successful entrepreneur and winner of this year's the Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year Award, Mr. Chris Fox. Before we welcome him, here are the points we are going to discuss today. In this episode, we are going to discuss how to select a business that's just right for you, how to avoid the most common but serious mistake made in business, not picking the right one to begin with, how to avoid potential mistakes from the experience and wisdom of others. Welcome, Mr. Fox, to News at 9. Firstly, congratulations on your achievement.
Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Fox, how does it feel to win such a great honor?
It feels absolutely great. Looking back, the journey that I began a few years ago means a lot to me.
Okay, please tell us about this journey of yours. How did you get started in this business?
To answer your question, I will have to take you 10 years back when I was deciding on a business.
Before we move on, let me tell our viewers what we are going to discuss in this segment. In this segment, we are going to discuss what things one should decide before starting a business, how to select a business that is just right for you. Yes, Mr. Fox, tell us about your journey to this point in time.
Initially, when I thought about starting a new business, I encountered many questions, such as,
Am I up to it? What industry? Where to locate, etc.? Should I choose a full or a part-time opportunity? Let's go back a few years. I would like to share the answers I found to these questions through my own experiences. These are the 3 questions every person who wants to initiate a business should first ask himself. Let us take these questions one by one and see why we should ask them. Question 1. Am I up to it? You should ask this to yourself because you are putting some, not all hopefully, of your net worth at risk. You may run the risk of creating a life that is out of balance, with working hours taking away from other family or pleasurable activities. There may be levels of stress you have not experienced as an employee. Secondly, you should ask, what business do you want to start and where do you want to locate it? You must decide which type of business is best for you, where your expertise lies, and where to locate that business. And most importantly, you should decide whether it's going to be a part-time or is it going to be a full-time venture. Is it going to be full-time? Are you going to devote all your time to it, or will it be part-time? There are some advantages and some pitfalls in operating as a part-time business.
The advantages of starting a part-time business outweigh the risks. You conserve your earnings, including retirement, health and fringe benefits and vacations. Your full-time job won't suffer if you compartmentalize your job and business into completely separate worlds. You can avoid conflict of interest with your job by choosing a business that is appropriate for part-time business, such as real estate, specialized food, e-commerce, direct marketing, or family-run operations. There are many advantages to operating a family business. If you are a part-timer, the family can run the business while you are at work. You have a built-in organizational structure. You can teach your kids the benefits of being in business. Some disadvantages of starting a part-time business are: there is a possible temptation to spend time at your job working on your business. That is unfair to your employer. You may end up competing with your employer, which is not right. Think of how you would feel or handle this employee if you were the boss. Any kind of conflict with your regular work can jeopardize your job and your business. Mental and physical exhaustion can become a real problem for part-time entrepreneurs. Welcome back. Let's now move on to the next segment of today's interview. Mr. Fox, how did you know that the business you'd selected was right for you?
Honest self-evaluation is the key. It helped me figure out if I had the capabilities to run my own business successfully.
Plus, deciding which business was right for me involved a lot of planning, based on my experience and knowledge of the market in which I plan to operate. Here's a checklist that outlines how you can choose a business that is right for you.
How to select a business that's right for you. If you have not selected a business, take the time and wait to find the ideal business for you.
Try to identify a business that has long-term economic potential. Don't try to tackle or pursue businesses that may be too challenging in multiple ways. It is better to identify a 1-foot hurdle than to try to jump a 7-footer. Determine the pricing power of the service business you are considering. Most service businesses have pricing power. Pricing power means that you will not need to have the lowest price in order to secure business. Your customers will be willing to pay a fair price for a better product or service. Avoid a commodity business where you must compete entirely on price and in which you must have the lowest cost to survive. Specialize. Keep in mind that as a general rule, specialists do better than non-specialists. If you are manufacturing a product, consider the pros and cons of outsourcing production to a low-cost supplier. In other words, operate a hollow corporation. A hollow corporation is a company that subcontracts manufacturing and packaging. Plan for a business that you know a lot about. Should you bet on a business you don't know anything about when you can bet on a business you know fairly well? If your business is based on marketing, an invention, or patent, remember, A. First check to determine if there are any issued patents similar to your idea. You can secure information from the U.S. Patent Office at
www.uspto.gov.
B. Be cautious about getting involved with firms that ask for upfront fees to market an invention. And C. No matter what you hope for, you will need a product to test, to show, and to solicit feedback. Operate a business that will grow in today's and tomorrow's markets. Study market trends, and try and foresee where the trend is leading to.
Welcome back. Let's now move on to the next segment of today's interview. I am sure our viewers must have found that useful. But, Mr. Fox, according to you, what is the most common mistake people make while selecting a business?
The most common mistake and the most costly one is not selecting the right business initially. To select the right business, you have to visualize every step, plan every move, and evaluate it with a for and against list.
Can you elaborate more on this?
Sure. In my book, Starting a Business, I have given some tips about how to select a business. Please refer to page 130 to 134. How to select a business. Write down an activity you like to perform. Make this the heading. Make a separate page for each activity or interest you have. On these sheets, list as many businesses you can think of that are related to the activity on each sheet. List all the products or services you can think of that are related to that activity. Use your imagination and think of every possible product or service you could perform. Make a list of businesses that do better in bad times. One may be appropriate for you. Some examples might be pawn shops, auto repairs, and fabric stores. Let's assume you end up with 3 potential businesses. You can now make a comparative evaluation using a checklist with a 1 to 10 scoring system. This kind of analysis can help you gain objectivity in selecting your business. Evaluating the business you are in or have in mind. Is it something I will enjoy doing? As Harvey Mackay has said, find something you love to do, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Also, if you're doing something you love, you're much more likely to stick with it through thick and thin times. Will it serve an expanding need for which there is no close substitute? Can I be so good at a specialized, targeted need that customers will think there is no close substitute?
Can I handle the capital requirements?
Can I learn the business by working for someone else first? Could I operate as a hollow corporation, without a factory and with a minimum number of employees? You might consider outsourcing to a manufacturing vendor. Cost saving is often the prime objective, but you also free up your time and capital. The major risk is the performance of the vendor and your success in developing good relationships that provide mutual benefits. Is this a product or service that I can test first? Your concept of a successful product or service may not be in harmony with the reality of the marketplace. On a small scale, pilot test it first. Should I consider a partner who has complementary skills or who could help finance the business? Evaluating your business using a for and against list. Make a for and against list regarding characteristics of the business. Be as objective as you can. If the items on the for list substantially outweigh the ones on the against, go for it. If on the contrary, it is the reverse, rethink your business plan seriously. Write down the names of at least 5 successful businesses in your chosen field. Analyze what these 5 businesses have in common and make a list of reasons for their success. Talk to several people in your intended business. Seek out the pitfalls. Better now than after you've started off. Write down the information as soon as you can. Analyze the other players in the market that are not doing well and write down the possible reasons for their sluggish growth.
So you see, before selecting a business, you have to consider following points: marketing problem, decision factors, relevant information, best alternative, marketing plan, and evaluation.
That brings us to another break. Till we come back, take a look at the points we will discuss in our next segment. In this segment, we will discuss do's, don'ts, and things you should watch out for at the initial stage of starting a business. How ready are you for the new business? Essential qualities that are required to become a successful entrepreneur. Welcome back. So, Mr. Fox, once it's decided what business you want to do, what should be the next step for an entrepreneur?
Once you are decided what business you want to start, the most important thing is planning and preparation.
As you can see, Miss James, I still have those do's and don'ts written here on this board.
Things to watch out for. Impatience. Overconfidence and enthusiasm can prevent you from analyzing your business carefully. Work out the negative aspects. It is much better to be aware of them and to face them early on.
Be wary of the lure of quick and high rewards.
If you have selected the right business, it will grow in time and reward you for your efforts. Do's.
Live prudently and begin saving up money for operating your business. Learn your business by working for someone else in the same business first. Consider the benefits of starting a part-time business. Consider the advantages of operating a family business. Objectively measure your skills and training against potential competition. Consider subcontracting to low-cost suppliers if you're manufacturing a product. Test market your product or service before starting or expanding. Make a for and against list describing the business you are in or considering. Talk to lots of people for advice. Make a comparative analysis of all opportunities you are considering.
Don'ts. Don't quit your job before you have completed startup plans. Don't consider operating a business in a field you do not enjoy. Don't risk all the family assets. Limit your liabilities to a predetermined amount. Don't compete with your employer in a part-time business. Don't be in a hurry to select a business. There is no penalty for missed opportunities. Don't select a business that is too high a risk or hurdle. Don't operate a business in which you must have the lowest price to succeed. Don't neglect to learn the negative aspects of an intended business. Don't permit entrepreneurial self-confidence to outweigh business sense. Don't allow the promise of a conceptual high reward deter reality testing first.
Those are indeed important points, and one should always consider them, not only at the initial stage of business, but throughout one's professional life.
Yes, always.
Once you finish going through the detailed evaluation procedure, make sure that you are ready for this new challenge in your life.
Your preparation doesn't end till you get completely qualified.
What do you mean by completely qualified?
When I say completely qualified, that does not mean only academically. The best way to become qualified is to go to work for someone in the same business. Attend all classes you can on the skills you need. For example, accounting, computing, and selling. Read as many relevant how-to books as you can. Be brave and ask questions or seek help from the most successful individuals in your intended business. Last but not least, an entrepreneur is successful if he has entrepreneurial instinct, business sense, finances. Here, read this. This is about the essential qualities of a successful entrepreneur.
The essential qualities of a successful entrepreneur. Entrepreneurial instinct. You must have an entrepreneurial instinct, which is an overwhelming desire to have your own business. You must have the guts and dedication to be completely devoted to your goal. Remember, devotion to your goal is more likely if you have a love for your intended business. Business sense. To become a successful entrepreneur, you should have a working knowledge of the business you plan to operate before you start it. Common sense, combined with appropriate experience, is what is known as business sense. Finances. Every business owner needs sufficient money to maintain a positive cash flow for at least a year. Many businesses can be started on a very small scale with a small investment. Then, as the business grows and you gain experience, cash flow from your business can be used for growth. In some cases, you don't need starting capital to hire other people because you might start by doing everything yourself. These are absolutely the basic and essential qualities an entrepreneur should have in order to become successful. Now we are at the end of our program. Thanks for being on our show, Mr. Fox. It was a great pleasure to have you on our show.
Thanks, Miss James, for having me on your show. It was a great experience to share my knowledge with you and your viewers.